I love the delay. Look at myself.
Tom?
Shall we call the meeting to order of the Historical Preservation Commission, City of Livingston?
I make a move that we call the meeting to order.
Well, no, I just.
No, you just-
Oh, I'm
I-
sorry.
Do you
I
want to do?
second it.
No, it isn't a motion.
Oh,
It's just a declaration.
Oh,
The meeting-
declaration.
The meeting is called to order.
You
We're not voting on.
I have not had my nap yet.
it. Okay,
want to take roll call?
Yeah.
I can.
roll call. Go around there.
Just,
Kristen Vanderland.
Betsy Luther.
Jack Luther, present.
Elijah Isley here.
Lindy Gibson present.
Blue Rock is here.
Excellent. I believe we have a full, complete commission.
So do we have, the next is the minutes?
So what I'm gonna ask to do is I included the minutes and I was hoping to get the PowerPoints from the last meeting from the state to include with them. And I've only gotten John's. I haven't been able to get Kate's yet. So what I was gonna suggest is let's hold off on approving these minutes until I can include those. And we'll just approve them at the next HPC meeting. Is that okay? You guys? Rather than, because I think it'll be confusing. I apologize, I didn't have it all lined up on time. So let's just delay the, maybe we need to take a motion on
The
that,
motion.
to delay.
I make,
Yeah, we don't really need a motion, we just,
so I'd like to know where you got the motion.
okay, now,
Okay,
you're on camera,
that's even worse.
okay.
Okay, general public comments. We do not have anybody online, and this gentleman is actually an applicant for one of the agenda items. Did you have any other public comments to make?
No, I assumed, when my agenda item comes up,
Yeah,
There's a
that'll be
question.
discussed at that. point.
right,
So, no, you can close general public comments.
Hearing no general public comments, we will close that. Now we're on to new business. First design review, the Grabo Hotel, a small sign. And Jennifer, I ask you to describe the application.
Well, the sign is already installed. When, I found out it was being installed, I reminded them that they needed to come through and they said, well, they already have the person there to install it, so. I said, just send me your application, we'll bring it through. I asked, I was unable to get the dimensions, but I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what it is. This is actually. It blends pretty well with the building, but that's what it looks
And
like
it
here.
complies with the sign.
Yeah.
Any discussion?
I like it.
Yeah, I drove by and looked at it
Yeah.
this morning. It looks fine.
I think it blends great, but
Do we have a motion for approval?
I motion we approve the gray ball sign.
I second it.
Call the question.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Oh,
Unanimous, 5-0. Okay, next one.
next one is the Livingston Bar and Grill Building.
That should say upper floor, not upper flood.
Is anyone here to present that for the applicant?
No, I would recommend that we skip, item B and go right on to C, since the applicant is here, and rather than make him wait while we discuss it, the other one. I think we should move right on to C.
I would propose that we don't take any action on that unless the applicant, that requires some explanation, don't you?
That was the one with the structure on the roof, right?
This is the one that you already looked
It's
at.
really a pretty
Yeah.
big deal.
That we gave.
Yeah, you guys, I don't think they did anything different than what you recommended, so.
Okay.
But if you want to, since the gentleman is here for the third item, if you want to switch it. I think that would be fine.
We'll take the third item first.
And that would be design review for facade renovations. This is an updated application from what this gentleman originally brought you for 116 South Main Street. It's the old Will Coxon's building, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yellow ones.
Now, this was brought in before. Jennifer, do you have any notes on what was said at that point?
I do not.
Because it was brought back for some reasons, it wasn't approved.
No. It was an informal inquiry.
I have ideas, I can refresh your memory
Okay,
if you don't mind, so. I believe it was you who mentioned that you felt like the application was incomplete.
okay,
Because I wasn't completely clear about colors and materials. So went back to the drawing board and in the PDF file I sent. There
You
is
tell me which one to go to,
this one here.
okay?
I got a sample of the soapstone material, laid it up. This is the existing brickwork on the building, just in terms of color. The color is a little bit more saturated in the building, but I'm trying to find stone that has a little bit of sort of matching parts there. And then if we go back to
and
that,
show us where that goes.
yeah, I will.
Okay, so let's go back to
This.
this one.
Yes, please. So this lower bulkhead here would be torn out and replaced with that soapstone. Originally, I talked about putting soapstone here and here, but the commission brought up the idea that maybe that wasn't the best idea. That, because that soapstone material is quite heavy, and it was not really attached strongly, it could fall and into someone. We had a discussion about restoring the wood. However, I was concerned, I want to make it maintenance free as possible. So my idea in this application is to pull this existing wood off, prepare a substrate and stucco these, and color match that stucco to the existing brickwork. So you would have the stone bulkhead here, and this would be stucco, and then the mullions would be replaced. It's very similar to this one on Second Street that I know you're familiar with.
So you're gonna replace all the storefront,
Yes,
okay,
with
with,
the windows, the lower bulkhead, and then above the window, basically. And the color that was I've chosen because page 27, it's a medium bronze, which is kind of halfway in between that tan brick color and that tonality of the soapstone.
bronze aluminum,
Yes, anodized aluminum.
right, okay,
And then at the same time that the front door will be replaced. With a door similar to this. This is an existing door on the 200 block of Main Street.
again, the same kind of,
Same anodized aluminum,
Anodized.
medium bronze color to match the mullions.
okay,
So that's really all the updates on the plan. But again, I tried to address your issues about color selection and materials.
The windows will all be, the front windows will all be one piece, then they won't have that.
I think when these windows were put in, you couldn't get windows that would go, but it would be, yes, my preference to not have this mullion.
Right,
in the
okay.
middle,
not to have that horizontal line.
Right. Which would sort of clean up the facade a little. And then these would also, these 6 panes would be replaced.
In color.
Yes.
I think it sounds really good.
Any other thoughts? Questions?
Make motion.
I only have a comment that doesn't, it's an opinion rather than comment. I think that horizontal over the storefront
This one?
doesn't necessarily want to match things. No, the one down from there. The one up above, if you stucco that and match it, it'll sort of become
Disappear.
sort of part of the masonry.
Right.
It'll be a similar element. I might paint that color, but you can, I don't object to what you're doing. And
Would you prefer, and it's just a question of opinion as well, if this was color matched to the mullions?
I wouldn't match it with anything. I'd just sort of make it something.
Okay,
But, you know, if you notice on that building that you were, that I did on, it's kind of a really dark green, but again, see that horizontal above.
so this, yeah, you mentioned this last time, that the metal work.
But,
Yeah.
if you want to match it, that's fine. I think you can overdo matching as well as underdo it.
Right, okay,
I would match the stucco just as a comment to make the windows look taller. Otherwise you start bringing things down, but that's just my artistic
Let's go back
viewpoint.
to, yeah, what is your comment
Match the above brick. Yeah,
with this?
yes,
Right,
No, that's fine.
right.
yeah, I think that would look
So
real
I'm
nice.
confused so that I can document what are we?
What,
are we-
you're agreeing with what he's doing?
Mhm.
Okay,
So I tell you what, can you do me a favor, please? And send me a rendering without all the arrows, just showing the colors. And you can kind
I
of
don't
piece
think
them.
he has a
with
way
this-
of making one.
Pardon? And I'm saying afterwards for our records, so we can show what was approved. It sounds
Okay.
like you all know what he's saying.
Mhm.
Basically, the horizontal elements, the one on the very top above all the windows, will be a pale tan color to match the brick, but it would be stucco.
Right,
Then below that, the second horizontal will be the same color, also out of stucco.
that is
Okay.
the idea, but.
Okay, so
people
they'll
have
both
the
be the same.
idea of-
Yeah, in a pale tan. And what
And the bottom
Jack-
is the green.
Jack was suggesting is that lower horizontal element not be pale tan, but
Not be there at all.
some sort of standout color. Maybe. Or go straight up.
I think, I was just making the suggestion that that lower horizontal might be a different color, as sort of an accent, but that's an optional. I'm not gonna object to what he's doing.
So I'm
I
very
think Jack was
hesitant.
talking about the horizontal of in the windows, weren't you?
No, I didn't make.
No,
that.
the applicant said they wanted to remove this line and put in just flat windows.
Right,
Here's my concern. It's really tricky to keep track of stuff. We make a lot of changes in the meetings and then I don't have a copy of the final
Right.
approved on. Because you're saying, and I'm not trying to make it more onerous for you, but you're saying, oh, it could be a different color. I don't think you do this, but somebody could say, oh, well, then I'll paint it pink. So I would really prefer to have very specific recommendations and approvals so that if he waits 2 years to do this, like Wolf's did, we don't have questions about what was approved.
so what are you asking for at this point? You're asking for,
I'm saying you can either make a decision now about what you want to do, but if you're still running options.
I think if I was saying that, what I was saying is that I would approve the submission as submitted.
And
As a sideline,
Orally.
I would have done something else, but I don't object to what you're doing. So I would approve what you're doing.
because when he's saying you could do this, it would have to come back through if you decided to
That's
change the
correct.
color. Yes.
That's correct.
So-
If he does it that way, it's approved. If he changes the color, it has to come back.
And the way we're doing it, right, is the pale tan stucco up here,
yes,
pale tan stucco here,
yes,
removing these lines.
yes,
And then in the windows and replacing them, and then this is gonna be the green soapstone.
yes.
That's, everybody
Yeah.
Yep.
go through with that?
Yep.
But I would like to have the option, as you mentioned, that if I decide to go into the color with this band, I'll submit it to the commission.
Yes,
Yeah,
Right.
sounds good.
We're all in agreement on that.
Yes,
Yep.
and you wouldn't necessarily have to be here. I don't think you could probably just send that in and I could just say, hey, this is the.
this could be an easy one, yeah.
Yeah, just make sure you get it to me a week before
Okay.
the meeting.
Unless it was hot pink.
Like I said,
You might have to come and try and defend that one.
or not. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Pink is cool.
It
Okay,
has its
so
place, but I'm not sure that's it.
does anyone want to make a motion to approve
I
as
move we
proposed?
approve the application as submitted.
I second the motion.
Okay,
Call the question.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No.
5-0,
5-0.
you're good to go.
Okay, so then do I get some sort of documentation or is it understood?
I will let, I'm trying to think, because of the window replacements, you will need a building permit, so. I will let, the building department know.
Okay.
And if you want to just kind of give me an idea of when you're gonna submit your building permit, so I make sure they know this.
Okay.
That's it.
Great.
Easy.
Thanks
peasy.
very much for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the details.
I enjoy meetings, but I'm always curious what's going on in town, so just a way to sort of catch up.
I know for us, it's interesting to know what's going on in town, and this is one way to do it.
Right.
Ron, I'm just curious, on a personal basis, what business do you plan on putting in there?
Well, Coldwell Banker still has the lease.
Oh, they do?
Even
Oh,
though they
okay,
don't seem to be using the building there.
They're hard,
okay,
they're
yeah.
hardly there.
I know.
They're paying the
They
rent.
pay the rent, you know, so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're out of Bozeman, aren't they?
It's the Bozeman Group.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, for heaven's sakes,
Well, bankers,
yeah,
hard to find anyway.
that they're not, yeah.
So for now, you don't have any other uses planned?
No,
Okay.
I have some ideas about it, but a few years down the road.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks
very
again.
much.
Good to see you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks. So back to this, let me make sure that he's not weighed in. It's odd that he has not called in.
Is it gotta be-
Yeah.
Um,
We were here last time.
but
But I don't-
Feel like it's-
I tell people that it is not mandatory that they come to these, but I strongly suggest that they do in case you have questions. So I think if you have questions and they're not here and you wanted to delay action on this,
Yeah, I would like a discussion about this with the applicant.
Should we review it first though, just to see
Sure.
what our questions might be?
I don't think he's changed anything since he was here before, has he?
It doesn't look like it.
so then I guess I would ask, it's certainly in your purview, but why would you want to ask him questions if you already spent 30 minutes asking him questions?
Because, well, I mean, one of my issues, okay, this is a small thing. But if you look at the where's the elevation of the backside against Glenn's patio? Or old Glenn's patio?
Right here.
No, there's
That's
an
the
elevation drawing.
Rendering, yeah.
Oh, an elevation drawing. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Nope. Hang on.
That one,
I think that's it.
yeah, that's it, and the,
It
Yeah.
appears that the left-hand window is an operable window because it has a horizontal.
And so your concern with that is what?
You can't do that on a property line
For building code.
for building code.
So this,
So what he's.
this
done-
commission doesn't look at building code.
Well, what I'm saying is that if that's the case, which would be a question to him. That's it's impossible to build it per his submission, and I would want to know what he's trying to do.
And I understand that, but you
And I-
can't
and I-
not take action for something that's not even under your consideration.
Well,
purview.
but I don't think you can do that, and I don't want to approve it.
but it's not our responsibility.
You approve this, if he goes to get a building permit and the building code does not allow him to do this and he has to change it, then he has to come back. That is
Okay.
on him.
I think I asked, I'm not comfortable with that with that little pop out being right against the property line.
Okay.
Since the last time,
Can you go back to the floor plan?
Let's see.
it doesn't have a floor plan.
There was one right there.
This,
Oh, that's
It looked like it was set back.
not much.
But
And,
it's not
and
in
again, he's
line,
got the same window.
it's not in line with the wall the way it was
Alright,
the
you-
last time he was here.
Look, you
What-
can
what are we talking
express your
about?
opinion. I'm gonna express mine.
and you can certainly take a vote and he can vote against it and others can vote
Correct.
for it. So
What are we
somebody would
talking
have to make
about
the decision.
setback?
I think in order to get off of the, I think to get off of that thing, you have to set it back at least 6 feet. He hasn't done that.
again, he's talking about a building code requirement.
No, but I think visually it ought to be set back more.
We're talking about the rooftop structure physically being at least 6 feet away from
From the building line.
the building lines.
So then you are talking about something that is an appearance.
Right.
Okay, so you're concerned, okay, so then that is completely under HPC.
And I don't think that one window is gonna look that way.
And again, if it doesn't look exactly like this when you guys get a building permit,
Okay,
because I look at them if they come through here.
well, make sure you see that.
If we don't, then we have every right to ask them to rip it out. there's only so much we can do,
Well, and
but the
again,
concern.
it's not our purview, and I don't, but I think it's worthy of discussion that he had some bedrooms on that side in the plan. And that would also be impossible because each one of those has to have an operable window.
Okay, what am I missing? Is
There's no
this the
plan-
floor
there's no
plan?
pl- There was no plan
This is roof
submitted
plan.
this time. He
Okay,
submitted a plan last time. I just remember it.
Okay, so
But
here's my thing. If you want this part right here, you're saying you would prefer for this visually to be set back some.
correct.
Okay, so and that to me is. I think it makes sense to discuss that here because it's how something appears and it's something new on a historic building. The interior layout and whether something meets our building code. I do not find appropriate.
The only reason I think it's appropriate is that it does affect what it looks like on the outside.
Exactly, it does. And if it changes, then they're delayed and they have to come back through.
We can only review what we have right in front of us.
And I will actually, I will bring them that specific note, depending on whatever you
No,
decide and say.
that's my opinion. It may not be everybody else's opinion.
So why don't we take this I'm trying to find is there an elevation drawing from the front so that you can see how
Yes,
far back is
to
it?
the
This one?
left.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty close.
So one of the discussion points is you would like to see this or Tom, you would like.
I'm
to
not
see
gonna
this
say
moved
how
back.
far, but it's like, I don't like it that close to the edge.
Okay,
I will say that per our last conversation with them about this, that wall was in plane with the outside wall, and we had discussions about it needing to look sufficiently dissimilar from the existing building, so it doesn't look like they're trying to make it a historical aspect. And I would say that those changes have been made.
yeah, the exterior treatment, so.
You like it, I don't.
I wasn't here when this was presented the first
I'm
time.
allowed to say that I like it, just as you're allowed to say that you don't like it.
Right? That's, I just.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I just
wasn't
want to
making-
reiterate that.
I wasn't making a value judgment. It appears that it's okay with you, it's not. okay
And
with me.
we're gonna,
I'm
That's
just
why
wondering
That's why we're
Like,
talking about.
what the structure that's on top even is.
it's for the elevator,
Yeah,
right?
they're making it a little rooftop deck.
Low rooftop patio.
Yeah,
And they're bringing the
And so
elevator.
this is just like the elevator comes up and this is where you get on.
But there's
Yes.
a room. in
Yeah.
there also.
Yeah.
It's big, it's
And
bigger
then,
than an
so,
elevator.
so Tom, you're just saying that you would like to see this shifted over
Yeah,
a certain amount off of. Do we think that this is Park Street right here?
no, that's. No, it's the Park Street elevation, so that wall is against the
This is the
patio
Park
and
Street
painting.
elevation,
yes.
what I have up,
But
right?
you would,
Okay,
but
okay.
because that's open, it's gonna be pretty visible. from
Mhm,
Park
yeah,
Street.
I follow now. Okay.
So,
My concern is that because the access to all those floors is on the very far left side, that asking them to move it over any further might not be feasible. And I wonder
You're
if,
bringing up an internal argument, which is.
I understand that, but my question is, would we decline their ability to do this if that's the feasible way?
could they not, if you're talking about, so like, if this shifts over, couldn't you just leave the elevator door where it is and shift
Yeah.
everything else around it so that now the elevator?
Until
door
we,
is like in the
until we
middle?
have a plan, we don't know. So we don't know whether it could be moved or not, and without the applicant here, I think.
I agree, that's a valid point, that we would need somebody to come in and answer.
I
So
think it looks. good.
I would ask this then, if there's some questions and all, rather than delaying motion, because I don't tell people they have to be here. I would ask that you make a motion, and if what you would like is to have them come in, that you deny it as proposed. If that's what we're hearing.
Mhm.
Does that sound correct? I just.
Yeah, and then resubmit it.
And then resubmit it, and I will make note of the concerns that you brought up, which is the alignment of facing Park Street of that top area some people mentioned it maybe should be shifted over. They just want to ask about the feasibility of that, right? And then the other thing was the window
The windows.
on the
and-
side.
And whether they can be inoperable windows.
Okay.
Or-
Well, and all I'm gonna say with that is, you know, we still can't say no, you have a question about that. But I will let them know that if the building code says they can't and it's approved here, it's gonna delay him even more because he'll have to come back. Cause I don't think we can say no, and it's just this one, right?
The other ones, yeah, if there's bedrooms behind them, it's also illegal, but again, that's an internal thing.
Yeah, and you know what I was wondering? Does it show? Is it? Can you tell? I can't tell. So when I look at this and I look at the door coming out, where's that one? Right here. Does this mean that this is a built-in railing or whatever that's high enough to meet whatever code is?
It's likely a parapet wall with a cap on it.
Okay, so it would be high enough. It just
Well-
doesn't look like goes up high enough.
Again,
The door goes down behind it.
Well, again, whether it's high enough
It's
is
not a-
not shown. If a railing was required, it would be a visual element,
And he'd have to come back,
and he'd have to come back.
and that's what I'm,
They do show a railing on one of those. If I remember right, looking at that.
It says metal cap to remain on that level.
yeah,
These
and,
are all the drawings, Jack,
yeah.
above them.
But I think you're right. So I just, again, would let them know that if everything isn't in here and it doesn't look exactly like this when it comes in for building permit, then he's gonna have to come back through. But he's already gonna, depending on how you make the motion.
This line here shows, look, that's the view. So I'm assuming that this is just a parallel.
If that's. Oh, the roof
This
vestibule, the
The
roof vestibule is, I'm assuming is the floor of that little doghouse on top. And it also says that the roof is below that. And then level 2 is the ceiling framing down below.
That sounds. Well, we've got a, yeah, that's the top plate, so yeah, basically,
Halfway is right above the.
I bet that's plenty,
Roof line is here.
but they don't.
Yeah, and I'll just let them know if there is a railing included and they don't include it now.
I
it's
think
just
I
goes-
thought in one of these views, it showed a
Hmm?
a railing or a fence or something around there.
Well, if
It's the existing, I didn't think that.
there's nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
well,
that's what he saw, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's the little fence, yeah.
So, but that is not, good point.
It's not, that
It's
is
not
not,
shown in the elevation. correct?
Well,
that's the other one.
And it leads you to the supposition that parapet is high enough to be a guardrail.
That's it.
Right, what about this
Oh,
one?
it's black and steel railing.
Yeah,
That's not showing it from, we're missing an elevation, that's what it is.
No,
No.
it shows that railing as high as the front parapet.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying this right here, this view, and it doesn't make a difference to me, but this side view right here, from like looking at it from the Glenn's side, I don't see that in the elevations.
That's,
Is that this? I don't
That's
think
that.
it's. It is?
yeah,
Okay,
that's not.
there you go. Okay,
No, it's,
And
yeah,
and there's a door there on the left side of the elevator.
that's what I'm looking at. It's not the same. So look here. I can bring this up to him, but there's a giant window here.
Yeah.
It's not a door, right?
Yeah.
So it's a giant window, and then there's the 3 windows here, and then the little one back here. And when I go. Wait, get confused. Here. It's showing, is that a window?
Yep.
Yep,
And oh, it's stepped back. You can't
Stepped
see it.
back,
That's why,
yeah.
because they're not showing the full elevation.
stepped
Okay,
that's also a window.
yeah.
is it a window or a door?
It's a window, it's labeled W.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just, you can't see it because they've got it kind of on an, that's why.
That's a,
It's-
that's
You
a
just
window
can't
that's set back.
see it in
They
that
don't show it in the
rendering.
rendering. Okay. Gotcha. It's tucked back in there.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine why there's.
So do we want to make a motion? Does somebody want to make a motion?
Anyone want to make a motion about
Make
this?
a motion that we accept it as, that we approve it as submitted.
I second that motion.
Okay, so
You like it?
motion to approve as submitted, the motion was seconded, all in favor? And
Let's
all in favor, roll
have
call?
some discussion first.
We can't do that. We have to make a motion, and if it passes, then you can't have him
We
back.
can't have discussion after the motion.
I cannot require him to come back if the motion passes.
No.
We discussed, we have more
Among,
discussion.
amongst us, we can discuss the
Which would
motion.
work.
You're gonna need to just discuss it. If you wanna do the motion that
Once the
way.
motion is made, you can have discussion.
Okay. So your motion is to approve it as proposed. Eli seconded that, so, have your discussion. We don't take the vote until you're done with the discussion.
Right. So you had something to say, John?
My discussion is that I think we've got too many questions here to approve it as it was submitted, that I'm not gonna vote for it.
Okay.
And that's, I wanted you to know that that's why I'm not gonna vote for it.
And I'm not gonna vote for it for the same reason.
Okay.
Because we have to,
Any other discussion? Okay, so I'm gonna remind again, the motion was to approve it as proposed. That was seconded, so I'm gonna actually do a roll call vote. Chair Blue Rock,
no,
Lindy Gibbs,
Yes.
Eli. Okay, Jack Luther
No,
and Kristen Vanderlyn.
Yes,
It passes. 3-2.
good, well. Get your eagle eye on it because you're going to.
No, I will. I'll look and I know what to look for and I can alert Jim to that and I can just ask him to send this to me when it comes in. I'm also gonna let this person know. I'm gonna point back to this discussion and send him the recording and say, you're gonna wanna listen to this very carefully. Because this was not unanimous and these things will be looked at. But as far as moving it over, it's not gonna be moved over. But the thing with the window you mentioned,
That could be a code issue.
yeah, exactly. And if it changes it and that window changes because of it, then they're gonna come back in here. So I'm very surprised actually that he's not here today. He's been really kind of hands-on with corresponding, so I'm kind of wondering if something happened or he just got delayed or something. My guess is he will, well, he's not gonna wanna bring it back because it was approved, but if he decides to change something because of your recommendation, then he would bring it back. So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be busy, but that it is,
No.
everybody has a vote
that's
and,
fine.
that was actually,
I'm surprised you guys are letting that happen.
everybody has an opinion, just like
That's
you said
true.
you do.
Expressing why I'm surprised.
And
That's the first time I've ever agreed with you on anything, John.
that's not true.
That's not.
Almost all of these design reviews have been unanimous approval since I've been here. There's been a handful that were not.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the two before this were, so you agreed.
It's the first time you've agreed to disagree with everyone else.
Well, it often isn't contentious, but this one,
I think these people, from what I've gathered, want to do the right thing and blend in, and so, like I said, and stuff like this happens, especially if he's not here, I'll send him the recording and say it starts at this, the discussion starts at this minute on the recording, and they can listen to it. So that's all for design reviews. Any old business?
I wanna know if there's any update on the projects downtown to redo the historic district. Have you heard
Yeah,
anything?
there's not gonna be an update until, that's because of the timeline was so constrained. Well, I guess I can say, we asked each of the consultants to submit, one of their drafts. And this is what the state asked for them to look at and provide feedback. They've done that. So rather than the back and forth for each one, the consultant said, this is what you kind of need to include for all of them. And so then we're gonna get them from them. I think the deadline to get them from them to allow for any sort of additional edits per the state, because I'm not gonna review them, I don't know what to look for, the state will,
Sure.
is July 15th, so it's coming up.
Oh, really? That's Scotch Monday, yeah.
It is, and, it's, again, it's not ideal, these people are working with us to get this done in a very short amount of time, because all funds have to be spent and all of the documentation has to be closed, I wanna say by August 15th. So,
Yeah, that's a pretty short time frame.
well, we got these funds like a year ago, and there's not exactly a roadmap for the things that I have to do, so sometimes things jump in there. And we have to sort of account for that, and this was my fault, it got pushed to the back burner. We got an extension, but we couldn't get a full year extension, so we're gonna get the surveys, we're gonna get, was it 18 surveys? We'll have those 2 full blocks completely surveyed, which I think is, the state's really excited about that. Yeah, and then we'll move forward from there. We've got another 6,000 for this year. I'm still kind of, since we don't have a historic preservation plan that says, here's your next steps, what you do. I'm been having some discussions with the state of whether we should double up next year's pass-through funds, which would allow us to do something bigger, instead of just spending $6,000. So we could ask for an extension on this year's, get next year's, and then combine them for something. Whatever we would choose to do with it would come before you for feedback. If y'all are on board with that, before we would move forward with it. But, I don't know if it's enough to do an actual historic preservation plan. If it is, that may be what I recommend, because I think I've spent a good portion of the first year here trying to kind of figure out where to go with this, since I did not done historic planning. And I think that we lost some time on that. And so it would be good if whoever fills my shoes moving forward, you know, when I leave, it's kind of like, here's the plan we have moving forward. It also makes it simpler for us to get, sometimes there's specialty funds, like there was last year, we got that extra seal. It wasn't pass-through money, but it was like additional money the state had. And they said, well, you really have a need to do more surveys, so we're just gonna give it to you. It's not competitive. Sometimes there's extra funds. If we have a historic preservation plan in place that kind of says, here's next steps, it might be easier to get some of those funds to do them. Because we don't have anything in our budget allocated to historic preservation, other than the pass-through money. So that's where those are. But the state is going to look at them. I don't even pretend to know what I'm looking for in there. So, again, John and Kate have been amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Montana, you guys, I mean, I haven't worked with them in other states, but they're phenomenal and generous with their time with me. So I think we're all really lucky that they're doing their job and they're so passionate about it, because I think some places would have just been like, figure it out. And I've spent many hours talking to them and trying to make sure that I can get things done in a way that makes sense to them and the biggest bang for your buck. So that's the update on that.
Good. Okay.
Might give I know some of this, but give an update on the downtown plan.
Yeah, so we, I check in with Andy Rutz, the lead consultant on that every week. We have decided he wanted to meet with the URA. URA is a key funding agency in the planning area. I mean, the planning area was determined in part around the URA boundary. And so Andy wanted to go back to them one more time and meet with them and kind of figure out preferences for maybe higher on implementation, that kind of thing, if their funding were to be used, because part of this plan will be an implementation plan, who the key partners are, what their roles are in implementing. So they're gonna go to the July URA meeting. I want to say it's July 20 something. I'm sorry, Grant really handles the URA meetings, but they're gonna go to that. We are actually before that, I want to say it's the 17th, don't quote me. We are going to be posting a draft. It's not a final draft, but it's the draft where it is, and it's probably like 95% complete online, so that the public can start looking and we can get some, if people want to make comments about it. It is going to go to the August Land Use Board meeting, which is the second Wednesdays. Those are the second Wednesdays now, so it would be August 14th that the downtown master plan is going before the Land Use Board for a recommendation to the commission, which would mean, and we want to give them time in case the Land Use Board has some additional requests for changes. We need to give them time to make those changes. So I think our plan was that it would go to the, if everything aligns, it would go to the commission on September 3rd, I think. Is that right? That's right. Yeah, I think that's the plan, but for sure, August 14th for the Land Use Board, and we want to have it up 2 weeks before. So the full agenda may not be ready, but we will be putting the plan up so that people have plenty of time to look at it. If there are questions in order, ask me questions if there's stuff I can ask or prepare for whatever they're gonna bring to the Land Use Board.
Could we get emailed that plan as soon as it goes up?
I will try to remember. I'm sure we will post it. If you guys are on the city manager's newsletter,
Mhm.
then it will be announced, but I don't know when the next one is gonna be. But I will try to remember, and I think I've done this last couple times to you and the Land Use Board kind of say, hey, it's out, it's ready. We would want the URA also to be aware of that. So those are 3 key boards that I can think of that I would want to know when it's posted. So I will actually put that on my calendar so that I will remember, John.
When you email the URA, just send it to us.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna, to you, to the Land Use Board, because they're the ones that are gonna be making formal public comments on it and consideration, but, I think Andy said he might have set up a place on the website, and I would also send this link. It would also be in the city manager's newsletter link, to get public feedback on the draft plan. But I don't want to say 100% that's true, but I think that's what we talked about doing. You know, most of the public input, you know, you hope has kind of already happened. But if there's something that came out of that folks are like, wow, I didn't realize it was gonna happen, and I'm really not happy with that. Or
You don't know until you see it.
you don't, and there may be something that somehow got missed and people were like, no, we really want to see this, like, so that's why I want to get it out in plenty of time. So instead of posting the agenda packet like we normally would for the LUB, the Thursday before the Wednesday, or like less than a week before, we want to get it posted like 2 weeks before. So I've got it on here to add this to my calendar. And then I will send it to you, I will send it to URA, and I will send it to LUB. Anything else?
Okay, is there any other old business? Board comments, does any board member have a comment they haven't already commented on?
I'm pleased the highest sign's getting done.
Is it?
Very pleased, yes.
Yeah, they're from town,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm pleased too, because then I don't have to.
Okay, any other board comments? Hearing none,
You don't have to take a motion, you can just adjourn.
I think that I adjourn the meeting.
Okay,
Thank
it's
you.
4:17. Let me turn off the recording.
Just think it's gonna be cafe long.
Okay, well.